So tell me, if you can tell me a little bit about your business and how you got started in appliance repair industry.
Okay.
That would be awesome.
All right, no problem. Well, how I got started is I've been in automotive repair, which is why my uniform looks like a tech, like an automotive tech. I've been in automotive repair for about 35 years. And I worked my way up to upper management where I was, I wasn't even touching the grease anymore. You know what I mean? I was just managing hundreds of damn techs, regionally. And I was always a hands-on manager where I would travel. Like my locations always did really well because I was really big about touch points and making sure that morale stayed in place by being, I was one of those managers. I didn't pick up the phone regional, no matter how high I got in the company. I never just picked up the phone and told somebody what to do. I would circulate my markets, and I was on the road about 300 times a year. You feel me? 300 days a year out,
I'm listening
315.
to you. Our CEO is just coming to say hello.
Hello.
Hey, what's up, big baller? What's up, big baller shot caller? I want to be like you when I grow up. What up? What up?
You're better than me. You're better than me. I'm learning from you every day. I'm viewing your YouTube videos, and I said, wow.
Oh man.
Well done. Well done.
All right, man. You getting your multicultural exchange for the day? Get some.
You can see me only if I get close to it, so I'm sorry, but
yeah, that's okay.
Thank you very much for everything. You're doing a great job with us, and I overheard your voice. I said, I recognize this voice.
Awesome.
Keep doing great. I'm sorry I interrupted.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you again. All right.
Yeah, keep going. I'm sorry.
All right. So like I said, I started in automotive. And so one of my biggest things about inspiring your people, you have to touch them. You have to be there. They have to understand that wherever they are, you have been. And you got to have some type of empathy. Like I can give you a quick story of an example. Things that people in my position as a regional manager or, junior VP, that type of thing, they would have never done what I do. Like, for instance, I had a young lady, she was a single mom. She was running a location for me out in Cumming, Georgia, struggling with her kid, but I believed in it. And I knew she had that skill set, that she had the customer service. She paid attention to detail. She knew how to manage this customer and the staff, and being a female in that in a non-traditional environment and being able to switch, or like we like to say in my community, code switch, into different roles to serve the purpose of the greater good is just, you can't train that. That's a gift. So she was at work.
Yeah, keep going. Sorry, keep going.
So what happened is she was at work and she called me because they had repoed her car because she was behind. And I said, girl, keep working. I got you. I said, just tell me where it is. So I went, paid up her whole bill, had her car towed back to her. And I said, don't worry about it. Keep going. You know what I mean? Because, my mom was a single parent with 3 kids. And, you got to rob Peter to pay Paul. You know what I'm saying? And when you grow up in an environment where you don't have, how to take resources. This is what I love about Workiz, because Workiz on a shoestring budget, I can be like a Fortune 500. And because I'm bringing that skills, that corporate, I hate to say this, I'm going to just say it, the hood mentality. I'm like a corporate thug like Gary V. You know what I mean? I'm bringing that mentality to the game, and I'm bringing it. That's like prime example. I already put fillers out because I just sold a compressor job on a Kenmore this morning at like 7:30. I got a guy right now installing a cooktop in Fort Lauderdale. I got someone working on a dishwasher. You know what I mean? And then I'm out here with them. So it's never a situation where I don't ask them to do anything I wouldn't do. And in order for me to get to the level I want to go to, I need people, but I need a certain caliber person. A lot of people just need to be led, but there's so many pieces of that game. You got to, first of all, look at the personality. You got to see if they're for the business. Not everybody's meant to be a tech. Not everybody's meant to work in this industry. And this industry is so underserved, in my opinion, because people have just been leeching off the game. That's how I look at it.
What do you mean? What do you mean by that? Yeah, can you explain that? What do you mean by
when I say leeching off the game? You got people that they just deal with the low-hanging fruit. They pimp the hell out their employees. They don't give them any profit sharing. They don't give them any piece of the pie. They don't give them any benefits, and what they do is they churn through these people and then they don't give back. Like, my whole goal is to have everything. I want to have a nonprofit. I want to have a training center for dislocated workers. You know, I want to do all that type of stuff because the reason why we have a deficit with techs is because we didn't invest. We don't push people to use their hands and their minds and use their mechanical aptitude. It's looked down upon. But, you know, this is why we have blue collar millionaires, because service industry is what a game is. You know, and most people don't understand that. Like, I have no problem with wearing this every day with pride. I want you to look at me and underestimate because you don't see me coming.
Right. Can you tell me, Rochelle, how do you find good people right now? How do you find, what's your process?
Well, a lot of times I'm at Marcone or one of the parts distributors, and you'll see these guys in there and they're out there trying to do it. And at the end of the day, it's very few people that can go from tech to business owner. You might have guys out here trying to do one-offs here and there, and they're trying to run a business, but they don't know how to structure an LLC. They don't know those processes. They don't know how to get leads and get customers and cultivate that. And because I speak multiple languages when it comes to just service, you know, I can look from the tech side and I can fill in the void. Like, prime example, the guy that's doing the cooktop right now, for me, he works for a major company, right? Now, at one time, he had his own business. His specialty is AC and HVAC. So he still runs his HVAC business, but, you know, he hums and hangs with me because he's trying to learn the business game for me. So where I find my people is that I'll be at Marcone. I don't really go through like Indeed and all that type of stuff, because at the end of the day, you have to be careful who you choose. I'll be walking around Home Depot, you know, a lot of my, you know, my CSRs, the guys, because I have parts running, like I got a whole dynasty going, because I have people that run my parts. I have people that deal with my customers, but I'll pick them out of Home Depot. Like, I'll look at somebody with a certain skill set and I'll invest in them, you know? And that's how I find my people at this particular point. My goal is to home grow my people.
What does that mean, home grow?
Well, just train them myself to have like I said, to have a nonprofit, team up with the government, do some training programs, and really just have a funnel. But the skill set is not just going to be appliance repair. It's going to be financial wellness. It's going to be all the things people don't get. You basically re-raising grown folks, because people do not have these skills. They do not know how to survive out here. They really don't.
And before I ask you more about that, I just want to clarify, you're the owner and operator of Laser Appliance, right?
Yes.
And for how many years have you founded the company as well?
Yes.
Okay. And how many years have you been around?
In this form, I've been around probably about a year in this form, because I've always had, like, my holding company, I've had that for 7 years. And I've had multiple like service entities because I was working. So I had to subcontract the work. When COVID hit, one of my senior VPs came to me and said, if your company's doing so well, why don't you go do that? And I was like, bro, you ain't say nothing but a word. You know, of course they call me every month now, every 2 weeks. You want to come back? Hell no. Kick rocks. Anyway.
How big is your team now?
Right now, I got about 13 people that I work with. Yeah.
And that's all techs, or you have dispatchers?
No, I have an executive assistant, Tisha. Yeah.
Okay.
And then I have a part-time CSR.
Nice. Okay. What's a CSR? Just so I get that for
customer service.
Customer service rep. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, she kind of,
Okay. Just wanted to make sure that we were using the same language. And I wanted to ask you, you mentioned, first of all, you mentioned a lot of interesting things working with the government. I'm super interested in that too. But maybe you can tell me about that. What do you mean by that? You mentioned starting your own nonprofit, but maybe you can tell me, first of all, how you learned everything you know about appliance repair. And I know I'm going a little bit off script, but you mentioned so many interesting things, and I want to know about them. So I'd like to know, you said people don't know these skills. So how did you learn them?
Well, I learned them because I was, in every job I went into, because I have a thirst for knowledge, I always like devoured any responsibility I had. So because I showed up in a different package than most people in the fields, because, you know, I'm a welder, electrician, like I have all those. And the reason I went into non-traditional fields was because I actually had a dual degree engineering scholarship to Georgia Tech and Clark Atlanta University when I was young. And my mother got ill, so I had to come out and grind and take care of my family, send money back home. So while I was in school, I started working, you know, like at a place called Pep Boys on the automotive side. So, you know, when just like when you're in college, you study that, but you also, if you're on a job, because I have that mindset, I studied everything there. So I went up the corporate ladder really quick because the people around me were okay being regular. So because of that, there were executives who kind of took me under their wing, because I was like an anomaly, I guess. Like they didn't understand. Here it is, this little round, brown, happy she nappy girl. You know what I'm saying? She, you know, she is really gifted. Like she's running a circle around these guys with less opportunities. Because prime example, they would put me. They, you know, of course, you know, people don't think you're gonna last because they underestimate you. And I'm the type of person where I realize I'm a sheep in wolf's clothing. You know what I'm saying? I'm a wolf in sheep's clothing. You know, I slide up in there. You don't even know I'm here. Like right now, how I'm talking. You know how many people look at me and don't understand my intellect? And I've used that to my advantage because it's not my issue; it's your issue.
Right.
I understand how gifted and blessed and how I'm divinely designed, that I was created for greatness. But you gotta understand that stuff I had to build because I came from a dysfunctional environment. And the key is what don't don't break it. All that stuff I went through really prepared me for the hustle. Like it's amazing that people listen to me and they be like, I just drop gems all the time. They be like, damn, you know? But how I got it was these guys took me under their wing and they would have me handle very sensitive matters, and I kept my mouth shut. Like I know things about people you wouldn't believe. But the key was I was learning from them because I didn't have that father figure. And a lot of these guys these gentlemen represented that for me, and they believed in me. So I learned about, you know, Earl Nightingale, Brian Tracy, Jim Collins, you know what I'm saying? Like I listen to Good to Great, you know, all the good stuff, positive thinking. Like right now, I have rituals that I follow, but I did that because I had to detox. I had to, like for instance, when I started working in that environment, I had to read 48 Laws of Power. And you know, if you ever read 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene, it either is going to turn you into, like me, it was hard for me to comprehend because I had to read that to understand how people who didn't look like me and move like me and come from me thought. Because where I come from, we try to take care of everybody, but we may not have much and the world may not understand, but we come from struggle love, you know? So it's a different mentality.
You grew up in Florida?
Yeah, I was born in Hollywood, Florida. My mom moved to Hollywood, California for a couple of years, and then we went around and came back. But yeah, so, you know, I had to unlearn a lot of, like, prime example. I was talking to one of my tech about managing your emotions. You feel me? And because, you know, passion is, you know, my passion has always been misconstrued as being rude or aggressive and blah, blah, blah. But like I said, it wasn't my issue, it was their issue. Like right now, what am I doing? I'm working. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, people always look at me and they be like, one guy put in my comments that I had a Messiah complex.
Okay.
Yeah, that was interesting. You know, that's okay, because I felt like Beyonce, because my beehive got his ass.
Seriously.
Yeah, but I understood what he meant, you know, and that's why I'm always trying to learn. And then right now I'm trying to have a little relationship, and that's, oh my God, we don't even want to talk about that. I don't have time. It just is what it is. So, you know,
I wanted to ask you, like, sorry, finish what you were saying, but I did want to ask you if you could talk, maybe not specifically for our blog post, but just for me, I'm curious. We don't see a lot of women in your industry at all.
Oh, okay.
So maybe you can talk a little bit about your, you know, there are some, but maybe you can talk about what it was like to be a woman in the industry. Maybe you don't think it's important, but I'm curious.
Yeah. It's cool. It's cool. Because I always worked in the non-traditional fields, my approach has always been the same. I'm aware that I'm an oddity. So I use that again to my advantage. I walk in, I talk smack. You hear me on the YouTube videos. I mean, it's like I should have been a damn comedian, really. But anyway, I have not had any challenges. I mean, I have had challenges, but they haven't been in the way that people would think. Like you would think that people would, like I walk into customers' homes and they're shocked. Because usually if they talk to me on the phone, they think I'm the receptionist or the, yang, 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 yang. So I walk into people's homes and they're pleasantly surprised. You're the first female, blah, blah. And I'll tell you, well, I said I have, I said I'm really big about women, working on in residential homes where women, so the female customers are comfortable. I have that conversation. And so it doesn't have, I don't have an issue there. With the guys, because I've always managed men and I speak the language they understand, I let them know I'm not the woman you sleep with every night and I don't believe them lies. So keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? But my approach is very different, just like what I just said. The only challenges is a lot of time the old timers, they don't understand. Like people couldn't understand how I had to download every manual, understand the diagnostic modes, all this stuff before I walk in. Well, that's because I'm really a tech by trade, and I was phenomenal in the automotive industry because I was over prepared. And I've always had to pay, like in my community, like what we like to call the black tax. Meaning that we have to work harder, twice as hard, blah, blah, blah. I mean, that's my generation. I mean, but it made me to where now, our only thing that's holding me back is this here. Like my intro on my YouTube channel, like the marketing, like the fact I need to post my damn Workiz link. Like everything is about time management and focusing on what's important. And me allowing to release some things and delegate responsibilities and follow up. But as a woman, I've heard, like I was at one place, I heard a couple of guys say some things, but I learned a long time ago, the greatest revenge is success. But I have so many blinders on, I really don't see it, but I know it exists. But I grew up chocolate, and round and brown. So like, I brush my shoulders off because the greatest revenge is success. And all you're doing is adding fuel to my drive.
Right.
Like prime example, I'm not going to say any names, but I went to sit down with a guy that has a company that does about 15 million a year. And I asked him, I said, look, I will come work for you for free because I want to fine tune my Samsung situation with Haas because they got a new rollout. And so I showed him my numbers. He said, "Nah, you're my competition."
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He said, "Nah, you're my competition."
That's amazing. That's amazing.
And so we chuckled about it, but the reality is that I know more about his business in the sense that because he is one of the leading, or let's just say to keep it gray, leading Samsung warranty guy, I know that his profit margin is this because he's chokehold by what he could do. And then he's got so many guys and his stuff is really not managed well because, unfortunately in our industry, a lot of people got in on the warranty side and they didn't get in on the COD side. And that's another thing that makes me different. These guys are held by, they go in and they looking at the quantity and they're not looking at the key performance indicators, the ticket average.
Do you work with home warranty companies or
yeah, I have a few I only work with the ones that pay. And when I go to them, I focus on the high end because with that, I don't have this.
Yeah.
I don't have, shackles on my feet or my and see, but you got to realize when I first got into business, I only targeted high per capita income zip codes. Like I did all that data research because as a woman, I'm not going in an environment where I'm not, that's questionable, not dealing with rats, roaches, and sanitation issues. You know what I'm saying? I'm just keeping it real. And that's why I was able to grow. And you got to realize I work on boats. So that is such a unique market here because there are people who just won't go work on it, and they don't work on them because there's a lot of the boats are European designed. So a lot of the products are Miele, Miele and stuff like that. All those products from Europe. So they don't feel comfortable. Where I myself, I love that because I always am accustomed to going in the niche. My whole belief system is find a niche, exploit that niche, and become the best at it, dominate it.
That's awesome.
And because people don't go in those areas because of fear.
Sure.
An appliance is an appliance. They all have the basic same functions. You just have to learn each manufacturer's twerks.
Can we talk about your other niche, your amazing YouTube channel? How did you get started? Can you tell us a little bit about your audience and like what kind of feedback they give?
All right, so how I got started was I started because people was harassing the hell out of me. They were harassing me, and I got to grind. Like I have a real business. Like I'm not an influencer with a team. You feel me? And at the same time, I really wasn't trying to charge the hell out of nobody. You know, and I just didn't want to even deal with that. So what I said, well, you know what, let me just vlog my journey and share gems along the way. And that's how I started the channel. Because, you know, a lot of people know me from like Brandon at TMM, or they know me from Appliance Boot Camp, because all those guys know me. And, you know, so the deal was that.
Did you participate in the boot camp?
Oh, yeah, I went to the boot camp. That's how I actually got into it.
Okay, gotcha.
Into Appliance. That's where I got my initial training from. And that's what people don't understand. I always tell them, you have to build upon the foundation. I already had technical and mechanical background. So I was looking for something that I could get into, make money, but I wouldn't have to pull an engine or a transmission, you know? And I looked at all my guys that were aging out, and I'm like, how can I still, you know, basically, how can we still use this skill set? So that was my initial thought. And so when I got into it, I started focusing on it just like I would in automotive. You know, in automotive, I specialized in high end, and we dominated those areas. That's a certain clientele you deal with. They expect a certain white glove service. I don't have a problem providing that. It's in any industry, you're always going to have the cream of the crop, but you have to be equipped. That's why I'm in a 2021. Like people just like, I've had guys call me and be like, do you have to drive a 2020? Do you have to do this? That's really expensive. I said, first of all, get out my pocket. Number one. Number two, I go in environments that door is open because I come prepared. I'm articulate, I'm professional, and I look the part. Like, dude, like really? But then again, you got to realize when I tell you these people are not equipped, they want it, but they're not willing to pay the price to get it.
Right. Can you tell me about like your viewers and what they, how do you interact with them? Like, who are the people who are watching your channel? Yeah,
there are a lot of people in the appliance groups that are watching my channel. There are people who are getting into the industry, coming out of other jobs, and they're really trying to get some type of build a nest egg and get out the rat race. You know, they really want to have the American dream on a whole nother level. You know, they're tired of being serfs, man. They want to be owners. And how I interact with them, a lot of them will send me messages, and I'll respond through YouTube. I tell them leave it in the comments. A lot of times they'll go to my Calendly or my consulting pages and things like that. Or they'll talk to me on Facebook.
Nice, very nice. And I wanted to ask you, we talked about this a little bit now, but you tell it exactly how it is, and you're very authentic. So what do your viewers say about that? And why, how did you get inspired to be like that? You know, you're constantly, you shoot your videos while you're on the road. I mean, that must be almost impossible to manage. How do you do that?
Well, I do it because it's something that, you know, I have a checklist and rituals, and I'm thinking, okay, I need to do this, because what people don't understand, when I'm talking to them, a lot of times I'm talking to my damn self. I'm talking myself off the ledge, you know? So I'll share an experience and I'm telling them, but I'm really coaching myself, because you got to realize I don't have that support system that people like traditionally, you know, people either you're married or you got a strong family, I don't have any of that. So I have to inspire myself. So I have to stay in my books. I have to stay in my meditation. You know, even though it don't look like, I have to stay on my little workout. You know what I'm saying?
I didn't say anything. Good for you. Wow.
Yeah. So, you know what I'm saying? But there are things like we all know what it takes to be our best self. The point is, most people don't have the ability to continue to get up when they fall down. You understand? Failure for me is not an option. If I do fall, I fall forward. I'm very clear about that. I understand that no one's going to give me anything. Like, I understand that the same hood I come from, the same family I come from, doesn't even support me. You understand? But it's not because they don't want to. They don't know how. This is foreign to them. And you know, the thing that people don't understand, a lot of times you have to leave your village to be respected. You'll hear that in the Bible where Jesus wasn't even respected in his own community. He says, dust your sandals off and keep it popping. You know, and it just is what it is. And, you know, I think a lot of people never learn how to go back and take care of the child within. You know, the point is your parents do the best they can, and it doesn't give them an excuse for the BS that you went through. I'm going to tell you that. But at the end of the day, the fact that you survived it and that there was something higher and bigger than ourselves that covered you, you have a responsibility, because there's a little girl and a little boy. Like, prime example, I don't know if you saw the video where I was talking about my new nephew Cordell.
Not yet, but
I sent him a book project. Well, he was on the phone while I was talking to his caretaker, and he was nearby, and he was saying that he wanted to be a real estate flipper or something. I was like, look, dude. I said, no, you need to be a developer. I said, so what I'm going to do, I said, you're going to go and you're going to do a book report. I said, you got a 4-day weekend? I said, what you're doing is I'm going to send you some links. So I sent him all these developers that look like him, Don Peoples, Robert Johnson, all these great whatever. And I said, I need a book report on Monday. Because at the end of the day, you know, with children are a sponge. And I think that we really don't invest in them the way we should. This is why you see babies at 1, 2, and 3 that can read and talk, because their minds are growing and they're absorbing. That's why they can speak multiple languages. Like, people just don't understand the resources we have right here, you know? Like, all my kids are grown, college educated. I know I'll never probably see them again. You know, the kids I co-parented. Because, you know, I didn't have the pleasure of birthing any, but my partners damn sure brought a boatload with them.
Wow, that's incredible. And can you tell me, so you're talking a lot about your passion for the community. You mentioned a few of the projects that you want to work on, but what are you working on today that's already kind of in the works? I'm curious about that.
Yeah, what I'm doing is I have a new project coming out called iFixDryers.com. That's my new venture.
Okay.
And that venture is going to be where all they do is fix dryers. Just like I fix iPhone, same concept. Dryers is the easiest thing to fix. They're the easiest to train. And so what I'm doing is I got a couple of young guys that I'm training now. And that's the only thing they're going to do. And the key is with, you know, well, that's where they're going to start in the industry. So what it is that I pay them, you know, after school, you follow me, to come train.
They're
and,
high school kids. They're high school?
On the job training. Yeah.
Nice.
So that's something I'm doing. But at the same time, I'm gathering data so I can present a program to the state or what have you, Department of Labor, of you know, training to, you know, because they have all these, like, you got all these IT programs where they give you a scholarship, blah, blah, blah. They get like $5,900 a student. You know what I'm saying?
And where do you find these kids?
It's amazing.
Where do you find the participants?
Well, the key is a lot of guys I know that are coaches. They have kids that have some challenges at home, and I kind of specialize in dealing with those type of, because I was that kid, highly intelligent, gifted, the only chocolate drop in my class, and I'm going home to a crack house, and you know what I mean? It's just insane. You feel me? But I had to come to school, and I'm sitting here next to, you know, I really don't want to use this term. Let's just say children who have more than me. And, but yet and still, I'm pulling 1480 on the SAT. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Wow. That's amazing. I hope to hear more about that initiative in the next few months. And I feel like we can't end the interview without talking about this. Maybe you can give me like some insight into how it's been with COVID-19. How has that impacted your business? How has that impacted your whole industry? You know, I'm curious to hear, especially in Florida.
Okay, well, let me keep it 100, okay? When everybody was running away because of COVID, what was my happy ass doing? Running to it. Because that just opened the whole, I'm keeping it real. I am an opportunist, okay? So basically what happened is that, okay, so one thing that kicked off my business was the appliance guys were scared. Everybody was scared. But you got to realize, I'm not scared of anything. So I believe in PPE. So I went in, I had made sure I had my essential worker stuff all laminated and printed. And so when the warranty companies, Home Depot, all these places, they were losing techs because they didn't know what to do. People didn't want to go in people's homes. Since I had already zip code where I was going, I already knew I was good. And I just made sure we were layered up. So for me, you know, we went in the door covered up. So I didn't have a lot of the issues that a lot of people had.
Sure. Wow, that's amazing. And do you find that,
I mean, think about it.
Sure, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, like prime example, and most of the homes I go into is crazy because this is typical Florida. Like I was telling a friend, you know, if you're Palm Beach County and lower in the South, like South Florida, everybody is following the guidelines. All right, but you take your ass to Martin County, Hillbillyville, they ain't wearing no mask. They like here dropping it like it's hot. I'm looking at them like, do you understand what's going on in America?
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, but seriously, let me get real about it. When I went in, was when COVID hit. Like is when my stuff ramped up because I had got my relationship with Home Depot. All these people, they didn't know. I mean, look, these guys had families in the industry. They had been working longer than me. They wives did not want them going out there and bringing that mess home, which I understood. I didn't have any of those restrictions. So you got to realize in 3 months, I probably made 90 G's. 30 G's a month. My goal now, I'm trying to get to 100,000 a month, 25,000 a week.
Wow.
That's the goal.
That's amazing. And can I ask you like how, just a side note about Workies, like how has that helped you in general, and what's been the most useful for you?
Well, the thing I love about Workies is that I'm on a limited time schedule, so it helped me pull a lot of things in order because Workies gives you the infrastructure if you're smart enough to utilize it. It gives you the infrastructure to send out the booking link. You guys were more than helpful as far as doing the adjustments to the link with the codes and the things that I needed. Took care of that immediately. The other thing is the call queue system is the bomb because you can forward the calls, you can you get everything you need is in Workies. And the thing what people don't understand is that Workies, like how you're talking to me now, ain't no damn body trying to reach out and really get the grassroots. And see, that's what's gonna make y'all win is because you guys, you guys reach out. Y'all know that this is not only a gold mine, but you also understand personalities like mine are gonna be the people that last. Because we adapt and change. You know what I mean? And we adapt and change on a dime. Failure, like I said, failure is not an option. So with Workies, it provides that. And so now with the invoicing part, the estimate part, the lead, the problem is that it's just like a smartphone. You know how you get your damn smartphone and you use the basic functions, but it can open a whole nother world. That's what Workies is. And that's why that's one reason I have an executive assistant. Her whole job is to teach us. Her whole job is to communicate with you guys, make sure we start extracting everything we need to do out of the app and getting everything streamlined because you cannot scale without Workies. That's what people don't understand. They out here running around looking crazy. And but that comes from, remember the transition from technician to
business owner, right?
To owner, and and management. It's a totally different game.
Sure.
I mean, Workies is the truth. And maybe one day I grow, I'm a true ball. I'm gonna be on the board of Samsung, Viking, Thermodell, or Workies. It's coming.
You're the queen. I'm sensitive of your time. Just the last question. Why do you love your job and why should more people go into the appliance repair industry?
All right, well, the people should get into this because the reality is you need to go into this industry with a plan. Uh, everything is being time goes on, the appliances are being manufactured to the point where everything is computer controlled. You'll see a lot of the older techs don't want to touch LG, Samsung, and everything. You know how they had an issue with what's that called, data specialists, and they got all these gaps because people didn't go in. I mean, look at you. You're a content writer. That right in itself is a unique area, but there are things you have to do to set yourself apart and be unique. It's the same thing with appliance repair. I think people need to come in because, particularly like me, another branch of my appliance repair is connected to devices, where those guys aren't even going to turn a wrench. They're going to go into these smart homes, develop a relationship with a builder, hook everything up, and then and that's why the thing about appliance repair, it opens so many doors. You can go to the point of sale side where you're just dealing with, the electronic piece. But people need to come into appliance repair because it's not just appliance repair. I have to understand plumbing. I have to understand electrical. I have to understand AC. We touch everything, and most people don't realize that. Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you taking the time. This was awesome. Your insights are amazing. Your channel is amazing. I wish you much success this year and going forward. And I hope to hear from you. Maybe we'll reach out in a few months to hear about those projects that you're working on.
No problem. If you need more time, let me know. I'm here for you.
Thank you so much, Rochelle. And I have this recorded, so we might take little parts of it. Is that okay?
That's fine. That's fine, girl. We good. Hey, you better than hey, I gotta tell you one more story before we get off. Let me tell you how grimy the game is, okay? I am in a group. I'm not gonna say no names. And they created a program, right? For service making, let's just say making money in the service industry. Being the middleman. I went to buy the course and I'm 50% of the course and she didn't even give me nothing. Didn't even tell me I was going to be in there. But it's okay though, because she'll be writing the forward of my book. It's coming. She's a 7-figure YouTuber, but we ain't going to tell nobody.
I can't wait to read that book.